Hello everyone, welcome back to Civil Engineering with Amir. In this video, I want to explain how you can draw the shear force and bending moment diagrams for this overhanging beam using the graphical method. In the previous videos of this series, I explained the main principles and concepts of the graphical method, and now in this video, you're going to see how we can apply those principles in this example, which is selected from Hibbler's Structural Analysis textbook. If you watched the previous videos, you know the first step in solving these problems is drawing the free body diagram of the beam. So if this is our beam, this is point A, this is point B, we have a uniformly distributed load or a rectangular load applied over the left half of the beam. So this is our distributed load. We have a concentrated couple moment with a magnitude of 24 kN applied right in the middle of the beam. And we have a concentrated load with a magnitude of 12 kN applied at the right end. This is point C. Point A is a pin support. Point B is a roller support. So we have AY and AX, and we have BY here. These are our spans. Now in the next step, we know we have to write the equations of equilibrium and determine the support reactions. But in order to do that, we have to first substitute this distributed load with a single resultant force, which is applied at the centroid of this distributed load, and the magnitude is the area under this rectangle. So you're going to have a downward concentrated load with a magnitude of 12 multiplied by 4 or 48 kilonewton, which is applied in the middle of this rectangle or a distance 2 meters from the left end. So our new free body diagram will look something like this. Now in the x direction, the only force we have is AX. So if we write, and this will give us an AX equal to 0. In the y direction, we have AY, 48, 12, and BY. So if you write AY minus 48 plus BY minus 12 equal to 0, we'll have AY plus BY equal to 60. And finally, by taking the moments around any point along the beam, for example, this point A, we're going to have our third equation of equilibrium. At point A, we will have 24 plus BY multiplied by 4 minus 12 multiplied by 6. And this will give us a BY equal to 12 kilonewton. And now, by putting this BY into this equation, we're going to have an AY equal to 48 kilonewton. So this reaction force is equal to 0. This one is equal to 48. And this one is equal to 12 kilonewton. And now we can substitute this free body diagram with this one here, and based on this free body diagram, using the principles I explained in the previous videos, we can draw the shear force and bending moment diagrams using the graphical method. All right, we start with the shear diagram first. From the left end to point C, we have a distributed load, and we know based on the first principle, the change in shear between these 2 points would be equal to the area under our distributed load only if we didn't have any concentrated loads in between. But here at point A, we can see that we have a concentrated load, so we can't use the first principle between the left end and point C because of this concentrated load in the middle. But what we can do is dividing this length into 2 smaller sections. From the left end to point A, we only have a distributed load, and we can say that the change in shear between these 2 points is equal to this area here. At the left end, we don't have any concentrated loads, so we won't have any jumps in our shear diagram at the left end, or this point, and our shear at the left end will be equal to 0. The change in shear between the left end to point A will be equal to this area here, or negative 12, because the load is acting downward, multiplied by 2, which will be equal to negative 24 kilonewton. So the shear at the left end is equal to 0. The change in shear between the left end and point A is negative 24, and the shear at point A will be equal to 0 plus negative 24, or negative 24 kilonewton. This is negative 24. I just assume that each line corresponds to 12 kilonewton, but the scale doesn't matter much as long as you keep it consistent. Now, we have to connect these 2 points to be able to draw our shear diagram between them. And using the second principle, we know when we have a distributed load between 2 points and there's no concentrated load applied between them, the slope of our shear diagram at any point in between will be equal to the intensity of our distributed load at that point. We can see that the intensity is constant and equal to negative 12. So the slope of our shear diagram at any point between the left end and point A will also be equal to negative 12. And since the slope of our shear diagram is constant, we know we can connect these 2 points using a straight line. So this is the shear diagram between the left end and point A. And now at point A, we have an upward concentrated load with a magnitude of 48 kilonewton. And we know concentrated loads will cause jumps in our shear diagram. Since this concentrated load is positive or upward, we're going to have an upward jump in our shear diagram. Negative 24 plus 48 will bring us to shear force equal to positive 24. This is positive 24. Similar to this section, we have a distributed load between point A and C, and we don't have any concentrated loads applied in between. So we can use the first principle again and say that the change in shear between point A and C will be equal to the area under this rectangle, or negative 12 multiplied by 2 equal to negative 24. Our starting shear is positive 24. The change in shear between A and C is negative 24, and positive 24 plus negative 24 will bring us to a shear equal to 0. And again, we know the slope of our shear diagram at any point between these 2 points where we have a distributed load and no concentrated loads applied in between will be equal to the intensity of our distributed load at that point. The intensity is constant, equal to negative 12. So the slope of our shear diagram will also be constant, equal to negative 12. So we can connect these 2 points using a straight line again. And you can see that the slopes of these 2 lines are equal, as the intensity of our distributed load didn't change. And we only have this jump in the middle because of this concentrated load. Now, from point C to point B, we don't have any distributed loads applied, and we don't have any concentrated loads applied. So the change in shear between these 2 points will be equal to 0. The shear at point C was equal to 0. The change in shear between C and B is equal to 0. So the shear at point B will also be equal to 0. We can connect them using a straight line. So at any point between C and B, the shear is equal to 0. At point B, we have an upward or positive concentrated load with a magnitude of 12 kilonewton. So we're going to have an upward jump in our shear diagram. The starting shear is 0. We have an upward jump with a magnitude of 12 kilonewton. So you can go up to this point, and this is positive 12. From point B to the right end, again, we don't have any distributed loads applied. We don't have any concentrated loads applied. So the change in shear between these 2 points is equal to 0. Our starting shear is positive 12. The change in shear between these 2 points is 0. So our final shear will also be equal to positive 12. This is positive 12 again. And finally, at the right end, we have a downward or negative concentrated load with a magnitude of 12 kilonewton. Positive 12 plus this negative 12 will bring us back to shear force equal to 0. So this will be how your shear diagram will look like for this overhanging beam. And now, based on this shear diagram and using the principles I explained in the previous videos, we can draw our moment diagram as well. At the left end, we don't have any concentrated moments applied. So we're not going to have any jumps in our moment diagram at this point. And our moment at this point will be equal to 0. So this is our starting moment. In the first 2 meters, we don't have any concentrated moments applied. So using the third principle, we can say that the change in moment between these 2 points will be equal to the area under our shear diagram between them, or the area of this small triangle, which is equal to negative 24 multiplied by 2 divided by 2, or negative 24 kilonewton meter. So the moment at the left end is equal to 0. The change in moment between the left end and point A is equal to negative 24. So the moment at point A will be equal to 0 plus negative 24, or negative 24 kilonewton meter. This is negative 24. And now we have to connect these 2 points to be able to draw our moment diagram between the left end and point A. Using the fourth principle, we know the slope of our moment diagram at any point between 2 points where we don't have any concentrated moments applied in between will be equal to the intensity of our shear at that point. Our shear is changing from 0 to negative 24. So the slope of our moment diagram between these 2 points will also have to change from 0 to negative 24. We know the magnitude of the shear is increasing. So the slopes of our moment diagram will have to become steeper. The slopes are not constant, so we can't connect these 2 points using a straight line, because in that case, the slopes of our tangents will also be constant, not changing. If we connect these 2 points using a curve like this, we can see that the slopes of our tangents are becoming shallower. But we know based on our shear diagram, the slopes of our moment diagram tangents need to become steeper. So this curve also cannot represent our moment diagram between the left end and point A. I'm going to remove them. And now, if we connect these 2 points using a curve like this, you can see that the slopes of our tangents are becoming steeper, starting from 0 to a negative slope. So this curve can represent our moment diagram. I'm going to remove the slope lines. Between point A and C, again, we don't have any concentrated moments applied. And using the third principle, we can say that the change in moment between these 2 points will be equal to the area under our shear diagram. This area is equal to positive 24 multiplied by 2 divided by 2, or positive 24 kilonewton meter. Our starting moment is negative 24. The change in moment is positive 24. So the moment at this point will be equal to negative 24 plus positive 24, or 0. And now we have to connect these 2 points to draw our moment diagram. Again, we don't have any concentrated moments applied in between. So the slope of our moment diagram at any point between these 2 points will be equal to the intensity of our shear at that point. The intensity of our shear is changing from positive 24 to 0. So the slopes of our moment diagram will also have to change from positive 24 to 0 or become shallower. So we can't connect these 2 points using a straight line, because in this case, the slope of our moment diagram will be constant. But based on the shear diagram, we know the slope is not constant, it's decreasing. If we connect these 2 points using a curve like this, we can see that the slopes of our tangent lines are increasing or becoming steeper. So this curve also cannot represent our moment diagram between point A and C. I'll remove these two. But if we connect these 2 points using a curve like this, we can see that the slopes of our moment diagram are decreasing from a positive value to 0, which is how our shear is changing from point A to point C. So a curve like this can be a representative of our moment diagram between point A and C. At point C, we have a counterclockwise or negative moment with a magnitude of 24 kilonewton meter. So we're going to have a downward jump at this point. The starting moment is equal to 0. Our jump is downward with a magnitude of negative 24 kilonewton meter. So this jump will bring us again to a moment equal to negative 24. Between these 2 points, points C and B, we don't have any other concentrated moments applied. So using the third principle, we can say that the change in moment between these 2 points will be equal to the area under our shear diagram. And this area is equal to 0 because the shear between these 2 points is constant and equal to 0. The starting moment was negative 24. The change in moment between these 2 points is 0. So our final moment will also be equal to negative 24. The intensity of our shear diagram is constantly equal to 0. So the slope of our moment diagram will also be equal to 0 at any point in between. And we can connect them using a straight line. And finally, from point B to the right end, we don't have any concentrated moments applied. And using the third principle, the change in moment between these 2 points will be equal to this area under our shear diagram, or positive 12 multiplied by 2, which is equal to positive 24 kilonewton meter. Our starting moment is negative 24. The change in moment between these 2 points is positive 24. So our moment at the right end will be equal to negative 24 plus positive 24, or 0. Using the fourth principle, since we don't have any concentrated moments applied between these 2 points, the slope of our moment diagram at any point between them will be equal to the intensity of our shear at that point. The intensity of our shear between these 2 points is constant, equal to positive 12. So the slope of our moment diagram will also have to be constant, equal to positive 12. The slope of our moment diagram is constant, so we can connect these 2 points using a straight line and go back to moment equal to 0. So this will be how your moment diagram will look like for this overhanging beam. Alright, thanks for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful and informative. If you liked this video, don't forget to hit the like button. If you have any comments, questions, or feedback, feel free to write for us in the comment section. And finally, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please support us by hitting the subscribe button and joining the channel. Thanks again, and see you in the next videos.